Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the next game in the 1987 American League replay. All games being played, no simming. We're at another game on the Cinco de Mayo date. We're game number 173 on the replay. And it is the Toronto Blue Jays and the Kansas City Royals. Toronto enters the game 14-9. Kansas City enters at 11-11. Charlie Leibrandt gets the start for Kansas City. Joe Johnson gets the start for Toronto. Ballpark effects, singles are 1-11 for both lefties and righties. Home runs are 1-3. There was one roster move made by the Kansas City Royals. They sent down right-handed reliever Rick Anderson and have brought up left-handed reliever Jerry Don Gleaton. So Gleaton will be added to their bullpen. Fresh arm and a lefty. Hello, Ben. Hello, Brian. I would do that, Brian, but I don't think the other channel has the chutzpah to do that, and they don't want to get. I don't want to embarrass them, so we'll just let him live in his own little world over there, and we'll do our thing here. All right, Charlie Leibrandt finishing up the warm-up tosses. Hello, Chuck. Good to see you. I know Chuck is happy about the inside pitch Detroit Tiger World Series that RJL just finished playing game number 5, and Senor Smoke held on and took care of the Dodgers. Hello, D. Smith. Good to see you. So let's get this game up on the computer and get the ball rolling, shall we? And get the full numbers on Leibrandt. We know that he is. Well, let's see. Did I have it written down? Should have. No, I didn't. So let's write it in. Leibrandt on the replay checks in with a record of 0-2, unfortunately for him. Not a bad ERA, though, 3.71, so he just hasn't been getting the run support. 34 innings pitched, 25 hits, 9 walks, 23 strikeouts. So Leibrandt looking to get his first win of the season. He'll be facing the Blue Jays, and Tony Fernandez will lead off for the Jays. Fernandez hitting .344 on the replay. No homers and 4 driven in. And this game now is underway. 2-12 for Fernandez against the lefty is a line out to third. So he lines it hard, but right to Kevin Seitzer. And that'll be out number 1. And while I've got Leibrandt up on the computer, let's go ahead and put in his wild pitch and balk totals. So we have those. He is a 7 wild pitch and a balk 5. Pitcher-catcher hold interface, he's a -1. Leibrandt's a -2. And the catcher quirk is a +1. We'll get Johnson's record and his wild pitch balk in the bottom of the first. Here's Kelly Gruber, third baseman. Gruber checks in, hitting .364, 3 homers, 8 driven in, only 33 at bats, though. That's a 2-7, and that's a strikeout. Strikeout number 1 for Charlie Leibrandt. How about that? Leibrandt with the K on Gruber. 2 down for Lloyd Mosby, center fielder. He's hitting .301, 5 homers, 22 driven in. Hello, Denny. It's always a good night for Strat. 1-8, and that is a 1-6 home run. That's a 20. It'll be a double for Lloyd Mosby. 2-out double for Mosby. And now Toronto runner in scoring position makes a clutch situation for George Bell. Bell on the replay hitting .256, 8 homers, 25 driven in. First strategy roll there, nothing happening on the Havoc. Leibrandt to Bell, 1-4. That's 1-5 would have been a home run, but 1-4, he grounds it to Seitzer. And that's going to do it for the Jays here in the first. They get nothing and like it. We go to the bottom of the first. It is Toronto nothing Kansas City will be coming to bat. And I did enjoy that inside pitch game. I'm definitely looking forward to that 77 game day replay to go along with this one, just to because I like both games so much, and I did miss playing inside pitch quite a bit. So I'm happy to be back onto that and be in the National League where I can manage without a DH. And 77 is one of my favorite seasons, so it all works out perfectly well. All right, here's Joe Johnson, the right-hander for Toronto. Joe Johnson on the replay is 0-3, so he's even worse than Leibrandt. 0-3, and on a team that is 14-9, he's got 3 of the 9 losses. Johnson 0-3, but his ERA is 2.93, so the Blue Jays just aren't scoring for him. 28 innings pitched, 25 hits, 5 walks, and 7 strikeouts. And we'll get his wild pitch and balk totals while we're waiting. And those on the computer come up as a 9 wild pitch and a 0 balk. Get those out of the way. And Willie Wilson, the veteran, will be leading things off for the Royals. Willie Wilson hitting 274, a homer, and 5 driven in. Does have 7 stolen bases. He stole 59 in real world. So we still had some giddy up to him in 87. That's a 5-6. Switch your bang left. 5-6 is a solid double to center field for Willie Wilson. So the Royals off to a good start. Leadoff double for Wilson. And that'll bring up Kevin Seitzer. Havoc roll now. Nothing happening. 5-5, right-handed. That's an in-home run chance, 1-4. That's an 18. It will be another double. So back-to-back doubles by the Royals, and they grab a quick 1-0 lead on poor Joe Johnson. He's getting rudely introduced in this game. Back-to-back doubles. Here's Danny Tartabull. He's hitting 272, 7 homers, 14 driven in. That's a 3-6 right-handed rather, 3-6, and that's a solid. Look at that. Danny Tartabull, clean as a baby's butt right there. 3-6, no doubt about it. All in caps. Home run, 2-run home run for Danny Tartabull. And that is home run number 8. RBIs 15 and 16 for Tartabull. And the Royals jump out to a 3-0 lead. And don't tell me we're going to have another one of these 10-run games. Don't think I can take any more of those. But home run number 8 for Tartabull. 3-0 Royals, and still nobody out for Thad Bosley. I am JT. I'm feeling a lot better, so definitely happy. Been off the last 2 days. I do go back to work tomorrow just for one day, and then I got the weekend, of course. But I was supposed to have today and tomorrow off, but I had to switch because they were shorthanded tomorrow. So I told them I would take Wednesday instead and come in on Friday. So Tartabull hitting, Bosley hitting 211 in 19 at-bats, a homer and 3 driven in. That's a 210, and that's another home run chance, 1-11. That's gone. Boy, poor Joe Johnson can't catch a break. 210, it's a home run, 1-11. That's a 7. Second home run for Bosley on the season. It's back-to-back Jack can do it again, as Steely Dan would say. And it's 4-0 Royals. And this might be a bullpen game for Toronto. But I'm predicting right now the Royals will not see 10 runs in this game. We will not have a 10-run game. There's Frankie White, 6'9". That's a fly to right, and finally they get an out. Finally we have an out now. As Barfield puts it away, retires Frank White. That'll bring up Bo Nose. Bo Jackson hitting 280, a homer and 9 driven in. Don't need a strategy roll because nobody's on base. That's a 1-9, and that's a walk. So a 1-out walk to Bo, and he might be looking to get the lead. See if he can get a steal. He needs a 6 or a 7 to obtain the lead. He does not, so he will hold. And here comes bye-bye Balboni. Balboni on the replay hitting 152, 4 homers, 6 driven in. So 5-6, and that's trouble again for Johnson. 1-4 is a triple. That's an 18. It'll be yet another double. So 2 homers and 3 doubles. Bo Jackson can fly. He's a 17. He was being held, makes him a 16. The double is assumed to go to center. So Mosby's a 0 arm. So 1-16. They're going to send him. And he's in there. Oh, he's out. That flip. It was a 13. It flipped to 19 at the last minute. And Bo Jackson is out. Mosby hit the cutoff man. It's going to go 8-6-2. And they throw Jackson out at the plate. How do you like that? Balboni will stay at second. He's so slow. He's not taking any extra bases. So Bo Jackson is out of there. It's going to go 8-6-2. Perfect relay from Tony Fernandez. And they cut down Bo Jackson at the plate. And Bo is not happy about it. But that's out number 2. And that brings up Jamie Minute Quirk. Jamie Minute Quirk with Balboni at second and 2 outs. It is a clutch situation. And he gains a hit on 1-9 in the clutch. And also on 2-6 and 2-8. So he's definitely a clutch hitter. That's a 4-8 left-handed ground ball to second. That's going to end the inning. So Johnson finally gets out of it, but it's an Abraham Lincoln 4-score inning for Kansas City. We go to the second. It's Royals 4 and Blue Jays nothing. As Kansas City sent 8 to the plate. And Johnson will have to regroup here in the second inning. Meanwhile, at the farm, Charlie Leibrandt is enjoying a 4-0 lead. And he's going to face Jesse Barfield. Jesse Barfield. That's a 5-4. And that's an in-home run chance. 1-11. That's a 5. It's gone. Jesse Barfield goes deep. And back comes the Jays. There you go. 5-4. That's an in-home run chance. 1-11. That's a 5. So Barfield came to the game hitting .283 with 6 homers and 23 driven in. Just hits home run number 7. Solo shot. Cuts the lead to 4-1. Don't count the Blue Jays out, I guess, is the lesson here. As Barfield goes deep. That'll bring up the first baseman, Willie Upshaw. Upshaw on the replay. One of the few Jays that's struggling. He's hitting 174. No homers, 7 driven in. It's a 4-3, and as a fly left field X, that's Bo Nose. He's a 4, E14. 4 and a 3, that's not going to cut it. 4 and a 3 is going to be a double. So Willie Upshaw will double. We'll see if Bo makes an error to add insult to injury. He's an E14. And that's a 5. So how about that? Got a rare play. So the 3 on the 4 is a double. So we go to the rare play double. Double rare. Batter hits a double. Runner advances 2 bases. The outfielder throws the ball back into the shortstop. And moments later, the unsuspecting runner on second becomes the victim of a hidden ball trick. The runner on second is called out. Are you kidding me? You got to be kidding me. Willie Upshaw down 4-1 is going to be out on a hidden ball trick. Are you serious? How do you even score a hidden ball trick in the Strat computer? How do I do that? How do I get Upshaw out of there? Boy, that's terrible. So I don't even know how to. I guess it was to call him caught stealing. I guess technically is what I would call it. Is caught stealing. And it's just going to be a tag out by the second baseman. It's the only way I know to note this. So how do you like that? Upshaw out. Here's Cecil Fielder. Fielder hitting .429, 7 homers, 15 runs batted in, only 28 at bats. He's just been crushing it. 2-9, and that's a ballpark blast, but it's only 1-3. So it's just a deep fly to left or out number 2. So 2 down. And that'll bring up Sharperson. 2 outs and the base is empty. It's a 5-8, and that's a strikeout for Leibrandt, his second of the game. Blue Jays get a run. They could have possibly had more had Upshaw not been dealt the hidden ball trick. We go to the bottom of the second, 4-1, favor of the Royals. Joe Johnson, we'll see if he can improve what he did in the first inning. He can't get much worse. Angel Salazar will be up to the plate. And on the replay, he's hitting 379 and 58 at bats. 1 homer, 6 driven in. Hit 205 real world, but he's really got it going here in the first 58 at bats. It's a 3-8, and that's going to be a fly to center. Hauled in by Mosby, 1 away. And we flip the order back over to Willie Wilson. He started the whole mess with a double. 5-4. Switch hitter batting left-handed, 5-4, and we're back to the in-home run chance again. That's a 13, though, so it'll be a double for Willie Wilson, his second double. And that is the 4th double for the Royals here in just an inning and a third. There's Kevin Seitzer, and now the Toronto bullpen is loosening. Don't want to go to him this early, but Jimmy Williams really has no choice. Got to get him up. 4-2. And that's a fly to left. 2 down. They would like to at least get Johnson through this inning. But they can't afford to wait till they score 7 or 8 runs. Here is Tartable. He hit his 8th home run of the season, his first time up. That's a 2-7, and that is a 1-5 double. 6-20 is a single. It's a single, but there's 2 stars there, so the run will score. And it's now 5-1 as the Royals get that run right back that they lost in the top of the inning. It's now 5-1. And the Toronto bullpen activity is going in the Toronto bullpen. John Cerruti, he is the long man. He's loosening in the Toronto bullpen, and he may be called on to go multiple innings. Johnson facing Thad Bosley. That's a 3-9, Bosley. And that's a ground ball to third. It's going to end the inning. And so Johnson gets out of it with just the 1 run. But after 2 complete, it is 5-1 Kansas City. And leading off for the Toronto Blue Jays will be Jeff DeWillis. They're a seldom used catcher. He had 25 at-bats total on the season in real world. In the replay, he's had 9. He's 1 for 9, hitting 111. But he does at least have a little bit of pop against lefties. That's a 5-2, and he strikes out. Strikeout number 3, but that was off of Leibrandt's card, so maybe can't fault him totally on that one. Hello, Colin. Good to see you. Hernandez, 4-7. Switch hitter batting right. That's a ground ball, second base X. Frank White, he's a 2-11. 2-18, he'll get to it. E11 is the concern. And that is an 11. So an 11 and an 11 for a second baseman on an error check. In 11, there is no 11. 15, 17, and 18 are the only errors. So Fernandez is thrown out by Frank White. 2 down. And that'll send up Kelly Gruber. Gruber struck out his first chance. That's a 2-8 for Gruber, and he's going to ground it to short, and that's going to end the inning. Handled by Salazar, and that takes care of the Blue Jays here in the third. Go to the bottom of the third, still 5-1. And on a very short leash is Joe Johnson. So Rudy is still loosening. But Joe Johnson the leash is very, very short. We got White, Jackson, and Balboni, all right-handed hitters. See what they can do here against Joe Johnson. Oh, we got hopping dice. That's what happened there. Let's going to re-roll that. We got 1-4 for Frank White. That's not good. 1-3 is a triple, but it'll be yet another double. That is the 5th double by the Royals in this game. Out of the previous 4, 3 of them had scored. So here's Bo Jackson. One chance of a wild pitch, which is a 9 for Johnson. And it is a wild pitch. That will send Frank White to third. Now the infield's going to have to come in. Or Bo knows. That's a 2-7, and he struck him out. So big strikeout there. That's the first strikeout for Joe Johnson. And that'll send up Balboni. Infield still in. Johnson to Balboni. 3-7, struck him out. Back-to-back strikeouts. Now Quirk, the left-handed catcher, is up. And I think that's going to be it. Despite the 2 strikeouts, Jimmy Williams is calling for the bullpen. And they will be bringing on John Cerruti, the left-hander. And Joe Johnson just didn't have it. He's going to go 2 2/3. He is responsible for this runner right there, so we can't close the book on him just yet. We'll do that after the inning is over. But Jamie Quirk will be coming on to bat, and coming on to pitch will be John Cerruti. We'll get the numbers on Cerruti. He's pretty well rested, so he can go a few innings. Cerruti 1-0 with a 1.26 earned run average, 14 innings pitched, 10 hits, 4 walks, and 10 strikeouts. So 2 outs, runner at third. Lefty-lefty matchup, Cerruti to Quirk. That's a 5-6, and that's a strikeout to get him out of the inning. So we can close the book on Johnson. He's going to allow the 5 runs. They're all earned. And he's going to give up 8 hits. And he's going to walk 1 and strike out 2. Close the book on Joe Johnson. It's not a good book either. So we go to the top of the 4th with a 5-1 lead in favor of the Kansas City Royals and Charlie Leibrandt. Due up for the Blue Jays, it'll be the heart of the order, Mosby, Bell, and Barfield. Chance to make some hay. Mosby doubled his first chance. 1-5, lefty on lefty is a walk. So got to start somewhere. Get base runners. That's what you need. That's the first walk issued by Leibrandt to go with his 3 strikeouts. But a leadoff walk can sometimes pay dividends for the offense. And George Bell steps to the plate. He grounded to third his first time up. Looking for bigger and better things here against Leibrandt. 3-11, and that is a ballpark single check. 1 to an 11. That's a 14, though, so he will line it to short. Line it to short for Salazar, and is out number 1. Brings up Barfield. Barfield hit his 7th home run of the season, his first time up against Leibrandt. Would like to do that again with people on base if possible. 3-10 for Barfield against the lefty. He's got the ballpark blast going again, but it's only 1-3, and that's a 9. So it's simply going to be a deep fly to left field for 2 outs. And now it's going to be up to Upshaw. Toronto standing 3 games back in the East. They don't want to fall 3.5, but they're looking more that way, the way it's going. Upshaw doubled his first time up, but was called out on a hidden ball trick. 5-4. And that's a 1-5 triple. Anything else will be a single. That's a single 2 stars. It's going to put runners on the corners for the Jays with 2 outs now. Clutch situation for Cecil Fielder, the dangerous Cecil Fielder. If anybody's going to get him back in the game, it's going to be Cecil. He's the guy you want up there. There's a 1. Leibrandt wild pitch rating is a 7. No wild pitch. It is blocked by Quirk. 4-7, and that's a ground ball second base X. We're looking at Frank White. White is a 2. 2 and 18, he'll get to it. E11, it's got to avoid, I believe it was 15. Yep, 15, 17, and 18. So he should be pretty secure. And he is. So it's a good play to end the inning. And Blue Jays come away with nothing and like it again. And Cerruti back out. Going to try the hold to fort. And Angel Salazar will be your leadoff man. Against Cerruti, Salazar flew to center his first time up. That's a 4-6. Right-handed. 1-17 is a single, but that's an 18. So liner to short as Cerruti catches a break. And Tony Fernandez snags it. 1 away and back to the top of the order for Willie Wilson. All he's done is double twice. And score twice. About as good as you can do it for a leadoff hitter. 3-7. Struck him out, but now he's facing a lefty. Turns around, bats right-handed, and strikes out. He's like, hey, Joe Johnson's not in the game anymore, so now I can't hit. So perhaps Cerruti coming in to stabilize the pitching. Here's Seitzer. 4-7, and that's a 1-4 double, but that's a 10, so it's a fly to right to end the inning. 3 up and 3 down. So Cerruti has retired all 4 he has faced. And we go to the 5th. It is still 5-1 in favor of the Kansas City Royals. Leading off for the Jays, it'll be Sharperson, DeWillis, and Fernandez. We're not in the 7th inning yet, so those guys are stuck having to play. That's a 4-7 for Leibrandt. Ground ball, second base X again. Boy, they're giving Frank White a workout over there. He's a 2. 2 and 10, he'll get to it. He's got to avoid 15, 17, and 18, which he barely does. But Frank White throws out Sharperson, 1 away for Jeff DeWillis. DeWillis, his first time up, went down on strikes. That's a 3-5. He's going to go down to strikes again. So DeWillis is out of there. 2 down. That is strikeout number 4 for Leibrandt. Fernandez, 1-7 against the lefty. That's a base hit. 1-3 is a double, but he'll settle with a single. So Fernandez, a single. Now, will he try to steal and get in scoring position? Leibrandt is a -1, but the numbers look pretty good if he can get the lead. So it's a 6 or a 7 for the lead. And he gets the 7, so he will take off. He's an 18, being held as a 16. And then from Leibrandt, -1 is a 15. So it's still a 1-15, and he will steal second base. And he's caught stealing. Look at that. Boy, Tony Fernandez gets caught stealing. Trying to be aggressive and get in scoring position, and he got caught. Putting on the tag was Frank White, and that's going to do it. Blue Jays are out of there. The single for Fernandez goes for naught thanks to the caught stealing. Go to the bottom of the 5th, still 5-1. Cerruti back out. We'll be facing Danny Tartable, Thad Bosley, and Frank White. Although they might pinch it. Well, they can't pinch it for Bosley because we're not in the 7th inning yet. So Bosley's going to have to hit. 1-9 for Tartable struck him out. So, boy, Rudy's just rolling. Maybe he should have started the game. Strikeout of Tartable brings up Thad Bosley. 6-5, and that's an in-home run chance, but he has weak power against lefties. 1-16 is only going to be a single, not a double. So, and certainly not a home run. So Thad Bosley with the single against Cerruti. He will not be held. And here's Frank White. It's a 4-4, and it's a fly center field X. We are looking at Mosby. He's a 1. 1 and a 3, so that's still only going to be an F2, I believe, not an F1. 1 and a 3 is an F2, so the runner cannot move up. He is an E7, so he's got to avoid 3, 4, 15, and 17. And he does, so good play for Mosby as Frank White is retired. 2 away, and that sends up Mr. Bo. Bo knows. He has walked and struck out. 3-8, and he's going to strike out again. Boy, 3-7 would have been a home run, but 3-8's a strikeout. Bo with the swing and the miss. And so Rudy now, 2 1/3 scoreless innings in relief. And he's definitely looking to pitch some more, as he has basically shut down the Royals and trying to keep his team in the game. Leibrandt, his fatigue is a 7, so he's still okay. He'll be facing Gruber, Mosby, and Bell. Numbers 2, 3, and 4 in the order. It's a 4-9 right-handed ground ball to second. And again, Frank White, he's all over the place defensively. He will make yet another play. 1 away, and here comes Lloyd Mosby. Doubled and walked. That's a 2-12, and that's a low max, but nobody else is on base. So again, it goes to Frank White. White is just having himself a field day in the field in this game. He also has a double offensively, so certainly making his presence felt. Here's George Bell, 0 for 2. That's a 4-8. That's a strikeout for Leibrandt. That is strikeout number 5. So Leibrandt strikes out Bell, and that's going to end the inning. So we go to the bottom of the 6th, still 5-1. Toronto back out there with Cerruti. And Cerruti will be facing Bye-Bye Balboni, Jamie Quirk, and Salazar. 4-6, and it's a 1-17 single. So it is a base hit for Balboni. He, of course, will not be held. Here's Jamie Quirk. .28 for Quirk, and that's a strikeout. So Rudy now with 5 strikeouts in relief. Brings up Angel Salazar. 0 for 2. That's a 4-2, and that's a ground ball pitcher B. So it'll be a fielder's choice, 1-4. Salazar will reach first base. And let's see, so Rudy is a -4 hold. DeWillis is a -3, so that makes it a -5. That's the most you can have. So Salazar, even though he's got an asterisk by his name, he will be held, but he won't try anything because that -5 is a big deterrent. So that'll bring up Willie Wilson, 2 outs, and Salazar at first. Wilson, 2 doubles and a strikeout. 1-5, and that is a ground ball to short, and that's going to end the inning. So Cerruti, 3 1/3 shutout innings of relief, and he is not anyways tired, as the saying goes. He's going to keep going. So we start the top of the 7th, which means pinch hitting is now allowed. Top of the 7th. It'll be Barfield, Upshaw, and Fielder. We're not going to pinch hit for those guys, but Sharperson and DeWillis, I believe they will be called back for pinch hitters. So Barfield's going to lead things off. That's a 6-11, and that's a leadoff walk for Leibrandt, and this is his point of weakness inning. So that's the first little notch against him. Barfield will not be held. And that brings up Upshaw. It's been 5-1 since the 2nd inning. We've had 4 innings of goose eggs. 2-4 for Upshaw against Leibrandt. That's a ground ball second base A. It's going to be a 4-6-3 double play. I told you all we were not going to have a 10-run inning or 10-score inning, total score in this game. I was bound and determined not to let that happen after the last couple games have been that way. In fact, the last 3 have all been that way. But this one, John Cerruti says we're not going to let that happen. So 2 out, space is clear for Fielder. 2-8 for Fielder, and that's a 1-15 double. So the double play erases the lead runner. And now Fielder with a 2-out double may not matter. Here's Sharperson, 208 average. So the Blue Jays are looking at their bench since we're in the 7th inning. See who they've got to pinch hit. That's right-handed. Garth Orge, but he is a much better. Everybody else is left-handed. So do they want to bring in a left-hander is the question. Rick Leach is a pretty good hitter, but he's much better against righties, as everyone else is. Boy, tough choice. He's 208, and Garth Orge is 210. But Garth Orge is a slightly better defender. So Garth Orge will pinch hit. Garth Clockwork Orge will pinch hit for Sharperson and stay in the game to play second base. Just try to get a fresh player out there that isn't 0 for 2 and see if they can make something happen. So Garth Orge pinch hitting in the 7th, takes over at second base in the 7th. Or Sharperson. And if he reaches, there'll be a pinch hitter for DeWillis as well. So Sharperson's day is done. Garth Orge swinging the old bat on the on-deck circle. And we'll get the numbers on Garth Orge as he makes a pinch hitting appearance. Garth Orge. On the replay, Garth Orge is hitting 167 in 18 at-bats. So we can use some at-bats anyway. Can't judge anybody by 18 at-bats. Leibrandt now 1 batter away from fatigue, or 1 hitter away, 1 base hit or base runner away. That's a 5-2, and that's a strikeout. So it would have been a strikeout either way because it was a right-handed batter, and that's going to end the inning. Orge will stay in the game to play second base going forward. 7th inning stretch is upon us. Leibrandt's going to stay in there because he's still got a little bit of juice left. 7th inning stretch, and Sharperson will stay in the game to play second base. And Cerruti's going to come back out again for more pitching. Why not? Might as well use him as much as you can. So it'll be Kevin Seitzer to lead it off for the Royals. No 7th inning stretch for me this time. I'm going to keep rolling. I still have endurance. So Seitzer will lead it off. He's 1 for 3. It's a 4-3 for Cerruti, and that's a ground ball first base X. We're looking at Upshaw, 2E11. 2 out of 10, he'll get to it. E11. He has to avoid on the E11. Let's see what he has to avoid here. 6, 8, 15, 3, and 18. And that is a 7, so he barely does. He will field it, flip to Cerruti covering for the out. And Seitzer is retired. And that brings up Tartable. Six, 4, and that's a catcher X for Cerruti. 6-4 is a catcher X. Catcher is DeWillis. He's a 4E16. Fortunately, nobody's on base. 4 and an 8. See what that brings about. A 4 and an 8 is a P/P, so it'll be a pop out because there's no pass ball. But we're checking for an error. He's an E16. So he's got all these numbers: 7, 14, 16, 17, 18, and 3. So basically 14 through 18 and a 3 and a 7. It's an 8. Boy, he just got away with it. So it's going to be a pop-up for out number 2. And that'll send up Thad Bosley, but he will be hit for with the lefty in there. They're going to bring in the right-handed DH, and they will go with Hal McRae. So McRae will hit for Bosley and stay in the game as the DH. Hal McRae. Get the numbers on McRae. McRae is hitting .263. No homers, 1 driven in 19 at-bats. 5-8 for Cerruti, struck him out. That's going to end the inning. And Cerruti, once again, another goose egg. Cerruti has tossed 4 1/3 shutout innings. Might as well go for another one. Try to finish out the game. Really save the bullpen. Leibrandt is scheduled to face DeWillis, but DeWillis will not hit. What you talking about, DeWillis is not going to hit. They have to go to a lefty, but that's okay. They will go with, they'll just go ahead and be simple and go with Ernie Witt and leave Ernie Witt in the game to catch. So Ernie Witt will pinch hit here in the 8th and then also catch in the bottom of the 8th. Ernie Witt. Let's get the numbers on Witt. There's only lefties on the bench, so we have no other options for right-handers. Ernie Witt on the replay is hitting .279, 3 homers, 11 driven in. So despite the lefty-on-lefty, is still much better than DeWillis. Either way you go, DeWillis is 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts against, so obviously he can't hit Leibrandt. 6-9, lefty-on-lefty is a line out to first, so he lines it right to bye-bye Balboni, and Witt is retired. Brings up Tony Fernandez. Action in the Kansas City bullpen as they have newly promoted Jerry Don Gleaton in the bullpen. He's obviously the freshest arm out there. 4-7 for Fernandez. Switcher batting right-handed. Ground ball second base X. And once again, Frank White is at it again with his defense. Another ground ball to second. Leibrandt's got that ground ball working to Frank White. And he makes the play again. 2 down. So Leibrandt getting that ground ball and getting Frank White a lot of opportunities. So two down. Base is clear here in the 8th inning. And it will bring up Kelly Gruber. Gruber is 0 for 3 against Leibrandt. 1-8, and that's going to be another strikeout for Leibrandt. That is strikeout number 7 for Charlie Leibrandt. Strikeout number 7. He goes 8 innings. They may cap him at 8. Well, they might let him complete the game. We'll have to wait and see how they want to play it. But we go to the bottom of the 8th. And coming in to catch will be Ernie Witt. So he will stay in the game to catch after pinch hitting for DeWillis. And still in there in relief is John Cerruti. He's going to hang in there all the way, it appears. Bo Jackson. Frank White is your batter. Frank White will lead it off, followed by Jackson and Balboni. 4-7, and that is a 1-4 double. 5-20 is a single. That's a 3. It's a double for Frank White. So, boy, Frank White really making his presence known in this game. Both sides of the aisle, offense and defense. Second double for Frank White. He's 2 for 4. Here's Bo Jackson. First base is open if Cerruti wants to walk Jackson and set up a double play. They could do that. Jackson is a strikeout propensity, though. He does strike out quite a bit. So they're going to go after Jackson. Cerruti says, I ain't afraid of no Bo. 4-7, and it's same roll. 1-4 is a double, but that's this time a 9 is going to end up being a fly to right. One away for bye-bye Balboni. Balboni up there against Cerruti. .110 for Balboni. That's a ballpark blast, but it's only a 1-3. But the devil die comes up as a 1. Do you believe that? How many times has that happened? The devil die comes up either a 1 or a 2, and really puts a crimp in my style. So bye-bye Balboni sends that one bye-bye. A 2-run shot. Maybe Cerruti's running gas. But a 2-run shot for Balboni. That's home run number 5 for Balboni. RBI 7 and 8. And now it is 7-1 Royals. Here's Jamie Quirk. That's a 3-8, lefty on lefty. 1-2 is a single. That's a 3. They got a break there. That'll be a liner to second for out number 2. If Cerruti did nothing else, he saved the bullpen so they can be fresh for another day. Here's Salazar. 2-4. Lines out to third. Snagged by Gruber to end the inning, but 2 runs are in. 7-1. We go to the 9th. Now the question is, do they let Leibrandt try to finish what he started, or do they bring in Mr. Jerry Don Gleaton just to get him some work? I think they're going to shake Leibrandt's hand and say, you've done enough for tonight. You earned your first victory. So Leibrandt's going to go 8 innings. We'll go to the box score and get the pitching lines on both of those pitchers. First of all, Cerruti goes 5 1/3. Gives up 4 hits and 2 runs. No walks and 6 strikeouts. Leibrandt, 8 innings pitched, 6 hits and a run, 2 walks and 7 strikeouts. The only run he gave up was the home run to Jesse Barfield. That's the only run he allowed. But coming in for the Royals will be Jerry Don Gleaton, making his season debut. Lefty out of the bullpen. And we'll get his numbers. Well, there are no numbers to get because it's his season debut. But in real world, he was 4-4 with a 4.26 earned run average. He'll be facing Mosby, Bell, and Barfield. Top of the 9th, 7-1 Royals. Royals looking to get above 500 for the first time in a long time. 6'10", left-handed against Don Gleaton. It's a ground ball third base X. That is Seitzer. He's a 4. 4-15, he'll get to that. The E26 is still problematic. E26 and a 6. How does that play out? E26 and a 6. There is no 6 on the E26, so he makes the play. So Seitzer throws out Mosby, one away. One down, and that'll bring up George Bell. That's a 3-3 against the lefty, and that's a ballpark single check, 1 to an 11. That's a base hit for Bell, courtesy of Royal Stadium. And that'll send up Barfield. .110, and that is a ballpark blast, but it's again a 1-3, but that is a 3. That is a 3. Devil Die strikes again. Jesse Barfield, his second home run of the game, home run number 8 on the season for Jesse Barfield. And Don Gleaton is getting roughed up here in his initial outing. Good thing they have a 7-1 lead to work with. It's now 7-3 as Barfield hits home run number 8, RBIs 25 and 26. And it's a 7-3 ball game. That'll bring up Willie Upshaw. Still no panic on the Kansas City side. They still got a 4-run lead. 5-9, and that's a ground ball to second. Frank White once again. Who else? He's everywhere. He's around more than Flo from Progressive. All right, here is Cecil Fielder. Last Chance Saloon. 3-5, and that is a 1-3 single, but that's a 14. He lines it to Salazar at short, and the ball game is over. 2 runs in the ninth, don't cut it, and the final score is now 7-3 Kansas City. They will improve to 12-11. Toronto will drop to 14-10. And we'll get the particulars on the game. Winning pitcher Charlie Leibrandt gets his first win of the season. He's 1-2. Jerry Don Gleaton is going to go 1 inning, give up 2 hits and 2 runs. No walks, no strikeouts. So 3 runs and 8 hits for Toronto, no errors. For Kansas City, 7 runs and 12 hits and no errors. And we'll get all the pertinent information. Johnson drops to 0-4. His ERA is up to 4.15. Player of the game, you could give it to, probably should give it to Charlie Leibrandt. He went 8 innings, gave up just the 1 run. Now, Jesse Barfield did have 2 home runs in a losing cause, but that's kind of hard to give it to a losing player when you lose 7-3. Balboni was 3 for 4. He missed the cycle by a triple. You're not going to see Balboni triple. So he had a nice game. Raises his average to 186 after being way down there. But Leibrandt with the win lowers his ERA to 3.21 and gets his first win of the season. So I think Charlie Leibrandt is your player of the game here in Kansas City. Royals left on 5, Blue Jays left on 4. 7-3 your final from Royal Stadium. And the next game on the schedule will be in Chicago. It'll be the New York Yankees and Joe Niekro taking on Bill Long and the Chicago White Sox. That will be tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, that will be the game. Of course, Saturday around noon will be season ticket baseball 1978. And then probably sometime later Saturday evening, we'll have the next installment on the 1977 Inside Pitch National League. Game of the day, it'll be the St. Louis Cardinals and the Pittsburgh Pirates from Three River Stadium. So, hope you enjoyed that presentation of Strat-O-Matic Super Advanced 1987 style. And until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.